Okay, pause the mystery music for a second.
But Gena, we're halfway through season 1 of Gravely Curious.
Which means it's time for, drumroll, gratitude break.
Huge thanks to our wonderful patrons whose support helps make projects happen.
With special thanks to Dawn, Heather, Meryl, Terry, and Wendy.
Patreon members get early, ad-free episodes, bonus scenes from our books, and new original stories.
Plus Q&As, polls, and shenanigans. So stop by the Treasury of Wonders. We'd love to have you. Throughout history, weather and cemeteries have shared a rather curious relationship. Rain that falls when it shouldn't, winds that whistle without a breeze, and don't get me started on the fog. Though the weather always acts as expected here at the Garden of Memories Cemetery. But that's not what happened in 1891 in a cemetery in Mobile, Alabama, where it rained. And rained, but only there. Day after day, a narrow column of rain poured directly over headstones, while elsewhere remained dry. It was as if the clouds had something to say about what lay below. The phenomenon was documented in local papers, so of course this drew a crowd. Day after day, rain fell directly over the gravestones and nowhere else. Then, after a week, it stopped. Just as suddenly as it appeared, it was gone. No one ever offered up a logical explanation or dared guess why. And if I know a fellow cemetery caretaker, and I do, they offered only a mysterious smile. In Wales, it's said that if a sudden rain falls during a funeral, the soul of the departed was carried off upon the dew of heaven. From Appalachia comes the belief that if thunder is heard after a burial, the soul has reached peace. Even my grandma Lily used to say that when the air stilled during a funeral, it was the world listening. And when it listened that hard, it usually meant something more was coming. So far, I've only been able to find the predicted forecast for the day of Chester Lloyd's burial. Not what actually occurred, but no storms were expected. So, if the sky didn't speak that day, was it because there was nothing to say? Or because it was listening? Welcome back to Gravely Curious, where the only thing more permanent than the hundreds of residents buried inside Garden of Memories Cemetery is the nagging suspicion that someone didn't die of natural causes. I'm Jane Ladling, your accidental sleuth, semi-professional late-night cemetery tour guide, and full-time truth seeker who's absolutely great at stirring up long-settled dust and not discussing her love life. Last time, we unearthed quite a mess. Harold Happy Bryant, former mayor and local champion of small-town backdoor deals, might have borrowed a little something from the park fund, labeling it as a donation. But here's the kicker. What does that donation have to do with Chester Lloyd's dramatic death at the Fall Festival? In a word, everything. Because Chester learned the truth about that donation and somebody was desperate enough to shut him up. Not by accident. Not by some dramatic heart attack scare. No, this was a poisoning. Definitely, maybe. Before we dive into the next juicy piece of this puzzler, a little housekeeping note. All the burial records, death certificates, and cemetery maps I sift through have always been kept right here at the Garden of Memories, in a metal filing cabinet so ancient it makes the Dead Sea Scrolls look like fresh prints. Seriously, the fact that nothing has burst into flames yet is a minor miracle. But I digress. Remember that flyer I told you about? The one tucked into Chester's library book? City Renovation Committee, opening meeting, October 3rd. Naturally, I had questions. Like, who was on this mysterious committee? Why in the world did Chester have this flyer? And why was October 3rd underlined like it was a date with destiny? Thankfully, the renovation plans were safe and sound in the cemetery's public archives, because apparently Garden of Memories was technically involved in some kind of expansion of the historical district business. So, on a slow afternoon, I cracked open a dusty binder labeled City Projects 1980s and went to work. The original renovation committee list reads like a who's who of Arulian Hill's finest, including Harold Bryant, mayor, Cindy Townsend, head librarian, Caleb Rowe, construction contractor and landscaper, Beverly Hunter, owner of Beverly's Bakery, and Dottie Witherspoon. Yep, that Dottie. So not only was Dottie possibly a murderer and the town's favorite scandal magnet, she was also knee-deep in a project involving public funds. If that doesn't scream red flag, nothing does. No wonder Chester was poking around. But wait, there's more. When I compared the project expenses listed in Harold's private ledgers to the official city documents, something weird popped up. 2 sets of receipts for the same repairs. Different companies, different amounts. And surprise, surprise, one was way more expensive than the other. Guess which one made it into the official report? You guessed it, the pricier one.
One second, Mariah Shaker was just a college dropout trying to outrun a storm. The next, she was somewhere else entirely. Welcome to Hackeldama, a land where justice is twisted, the innocent are punished, and Mariah, she's been marked for death. Desperate to find a way home, she races toward the city of Lux, her only hope of escape. At her side, a scrappy hustler, a grumpy ex-mayor, a growing beast dog, and Jasher, the deadly executioner with secrets as dark as the skies above them. Battling bounty hunters, monstrous beasts, and lethal fields of poppies, Mariah's toughest fight might just be against the one thing she never saw coming, the pull of a heart she's forbidden to love. Step into Hackeldama, run for your life, fight for your future, fall for the impossible. The Great and Terrible by Gena Showalter, available now wherever books are sold.
Looks like someone was seriously overcharging the town and pocketing the difference. If Chester found out and threatened to spill, well, that's a nice motive, isn't it? Here's a little cemetery wisdom for you. If you hear whispers about money, someone's usually digging, but not 6 feet under. So where does that leave us now? Harold Bryant had dirty hands and a whole lot of secrets. Dottie Witherspoon had a history of making questionable decisions. And someone on that renovation committee knew how to cook more than just the books. Which brings me to my next big deep dive. Who benefited the most from those padded renovation costs? Because, as my grandma Lily always said, follow the money, sugar. It's sweeter than gossip and twice as sticky. I plan to take a closer look at Beverly Hunter, which sucks on every level because she used to give me a free cookie when I'd come in with my grandma. But when your bakery suddenly triples in size after a government payout, rumors should start milling, suspicions should start stirring, and questions start raising their hands.
Tired of predictable vacations and zero chance of forbidden love or near-death experiences? Welcome to Hackeldama, a twisted fairy tale realm where mysteries lurk, poppies hum the most beautiful, albeit deadly lullabies, and the brooding love interest of your dreams might await. Stroll through the ruins of forgotten empires. Pet puppies who will grow up to guard you or eat you. Attend royal balls with temporarily alive entertainment. Here in Hackeldama, justice is skewed but swift. Adventure is inevitable, and falling for someone you shouldn't is basically a requirement. Find your way to the legendary city of Lux, where a portal home might exist. Or maybe just more trouble. Hackeldama, come for the thunderstorms, stay for the love that will stretch into eternity.
Thanks again for joining me on Gravely Curious. Stay nosy, stay neighborly, and remember, your secrets won't stay buried for long.
Long ago, when the Earth was new, it was foretold that 2 authors, Gena Showalter and Jill Monroe, would create a book series and podcast filled with cozy mysteries and fictional shenanigans. That time is now. Nothing here is real. Any resemblance is pure fate and failed prophecy. All rights reserved by Author Talk Media, LLC. Honor the legend. Respect the copyright. You can find Jane's book adventures in ebook, print, and audio. Patreon members get episodes early and without ads.
Hi, this is Gena Showalter, Right now, I'm deep in the trenches writing the next installment of my No Monsters Like Hers series. But in the meantime, you can step into the mood of the great and terrible with a brand new ambient experience. Get swept away into the fantastical realm of Hackeldama with a 30-minute ambient soundscape designed to enhance your reading, writing, or daydreaming. This atmospheric track captures the haunting beauty of a world where danger hides behind every breathtaking moment, and every choice comes with a price, especially the heart. Many of the sounds were recorded by me personally, weaving a truly immersive journey that echoes the emotional core of the great and terrible. Check the show notes for the link.